Wait for a few people to pop in, and then I can kickstart it. Let me share this again on Twitter. It always takes a while for the chat to pop in. My screen died. Alright. We got one person in. I'm gonna transition this over to live scene. Alright, here we got 7 viewers in the chat. Alright. Anyways, hello everyone, yeah, Chris here, and welcome back to another episode of Ask the Chaos Protectors, Season 4, Episode 9, featuring my special guest for today, Lonnie.
Aloha, hi. Hello.
You'll be fine. As always, guys, you know the drill. No questions to me, only to the guest here. And as always, if you guys haven't yet subscribed to their channel, make sure to do so. It is in the title as well as the description below as well. Make sure you guys give a follow as well as check out the first episode of their series. Trust me, you'll love it. Alright, so let's start off with the first question. What inspired the series Aiko's Adventure?
Alright, so it started back a while ago. The big inspiration of Aiko's Adventure was two things. It was Walton Files and Andy's Apple Farm. I always love horror. It's always been my favorite thing growing up as a kid, but I just never thought there was different type of horrors until I dipped my toes into analog horror, and I really like the idea of just having these silly characters, or just these cute, lovable, wholesome thing that wouldn't go wrong, how it looks fine, and then spookiness and everything. So it took me a bit, but that's pretty much my big inspiration for Aiko's Adventure.
Also, yeah, Aries says Aiko's Adventure. I'm assuming
Thank you,
one of the
Aries.
VAs.
Yes, that is the VA for Mr. Smiles.
Hello.
Don't mind him. He's just a little silly.
Yeah, I can tell. I know he was joking when he did that. Actually, speaking of Mr. Smiles, so what inspired the design as well as the character of that Mr. Smiles?
So, I don't know if you're gonna believe this or not, but do you remember this weird parody called Slendy Tubbies?
Yeah, I played it.
I like the I like the idea of just a headless silly tubby chasing after you with a chainsaw. So when I was making the entities and monsters, it just popped in my head. I'm like, would it be so funny if that was in the inspiration of Mr. Smiles, and that was the inspiration for Mr. Smiles.
And to add more to the question, what exactly, did not go into any spoilers on that, so, what exactly is, Mr. Smiles', objective in the story, especially in regards to Aiko himself?
So Mr. Smiles is one of the lost souls slash entities. His main in the or his main role in the show or the quote unquote analog horror series is that he slowly kind of is the definition or like kind of explains of what happened when someone slowly starts going insane due to just everything and tragic and just losing hope.
Okay. Okay. Alright. And remember, guys, you guys can ask your questions in regards to the series as well. Now, here's my question. Here's another question I have. Like, what's the story behind Aiko himself?
So, with Aiko himself, pretty much he's just a silly dude that loves to go on adventures. If we just get rid of the horror real quick, he's just a silly dude that likes to explore the world outside of the town, showing the adventurers about like what they can find and like just having a lot of fun. But also at the end, there's supposed to be a quote unquote like, hey, after this adventure, this is also kind of like a reminder of like, this is what happened when this happens or something goes wrong or something goes right. It's just like a kind of teaching kids of how to be safe, quote unquote, with some things.
Alright. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about there, Sega Sonic. But, anyways, my next question. Now that you bring up the adventures in the story, like, are they like just random NPCs that, like, I know during like some of the auditions you've held, like some of them, like the characters who bring up the adventurers, like, are they just like NPCs that are in that world?
So adventures are mostly supposed to be the viewers, the people who are watching the show, because they're calling the viewers, like the kids or the parents or the family or whoever's watching it, that they're adventurers, trying to have them join their, their crazy madness in their own world.
Okay. So it's like breaking the fourth wall.
Pretty much, yeah.
Huh, I like that. Yeah, from Zeta, they ask which character you relate to the most.
So there's two, but if I'm gonna say like my number one that is like relate to me, he goes by Pit. He's a quote unquote delivery man in Aiko's, but he has more like personality than just being a delivery man. He's just a typical guy that wants to work hard and make everybody happy, but sometimes he pushes his own happiness and his own feelings away because he doesn't think that he's allowed to show it. He has to be the rock, which sometimes what I've learned is that when you don't let out your feelings or let out that, if you're having a bad day or just whatever it is, it could start eating you up and it could slowly just hurt, So, and although he's very silly and he can sing, so.
Okay. Ooh, Aries has a question that they've been curious about, and they said, I've been wondering for a little bit, but what's the deal for the two grayscale characters at the start? Inspiration from what?
You're gonna have to explain a little bit more different with me, Aries. Because my brain just kind of went bye-bye. Oh! Now, okay, never mind. Now I remember. That is Dolly and Whiskers. They are the narrators, quote unquote. My brain just went bye-bye. But no, they're just narrators. They just So from time to time, they're going to pop in and like kind of like narrate and such, but like they're not really too important. They're just there to kind of you know get the crowd or the viewers excited, and then being like, "Come on, let's go." As someone who voiced Dolly,
Hi, I'm Dolly. Nice to meet you. Are you ready for another adventure, friends?
and just like having just taking them to Aiko and having fun.
So they're like also characters that can break the fourth wall while they're like talking to the viewers.
I see. Oh, inspiration. So Dolly was inspired. Dolly was actually inspired by a very old character of mine, and was also inspired by. I forgot this character, but I cannot remember for it. It's a very old Hawaiian cartoon show that I cannot remember, but it was inspired by the silly, very stretchable rabbit and such. And for Whiskers was inspired by the cat from Alice in Wonderland. So yeah.
So just our cat. Okay.
Hey.
All right. Analu, I can't really read your question. I don't really know Spanish, so I can't really read that. No offense. Huh? Yeah. Alright. From Dark, from Dark Day asks, what's your, if you've played any of them, what's the best Sonic game you played? Have you played any?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
The classic. But mostly, no, you cannot. But also, if I have to like not count the classic, then Sonic Heroes.
Ooh, that is still one game I need to beat. I have yet to beat that game. Alright. Ooh, another game I have yet to beat. Sonic and the Secret Rings. Alright. From Reggie, they asked, what movie would you have a crossover with? Disney Cards or The Polar Express? That's what they asked.
I don't know either of those, so sorry, I can't answer that. I don't know that.
Alright. Alright. So, back to more questions on, for Aiko's Adventure. I do have a few for, the new one. Where exactly does the world that Aiko travels in take place exactly?
So, in their world, it's kind of like Earth with us, but a bit different.
Oh.
So like, they for Aiko they live in the deep forest, called Giggle Forest. Yes, it's literally a forest of giggles, and it's kind of far away from society. But they can also just. It is gonna sound very confusing, but like they can just hop to places from time to time with no explanation, because the whole story and the world is focusing on Aiko them going on weird adventures, even if sometimes you'd be like, wait, how the heck did we get here? Don't question it. You're an adventure. Go have fun, child.
Yeesh. There's a lot of fourth wall breaking with that. Even traveling to different locations. Just like that. That's crazy. Also, hello, Diamond Warrior. They said, hey-o. Alright. Now to move on, we'll get back to some more questions on Aiko's Adventure. Let's talk about the Imagination World ARG. So what inspired that one?
So that I just had a brain fart. So pretty much what inspired Imagination World is two ARGs, The Welcome Home and a very underrated one called Ches Kids Archive. At first, I was a little hesitant of making it, but I decided to give it a try, and ever since, behind the scene, I've been working on the ARG website. And I don't want to spoil too much, but all I will say is that 40 to 50% is done so far.
That's impressive. Alright. Well, just go ask, what's your favorite Sonic game? You like the classics. Which one was your favorite one from the classics?
Besides, again, it's Sonic Heroes.
Yeah. Alright. Alright. More to the Imagination World. Like, I've seen the designs for the characters for that series. How hard was it for to design those ones?
It was not really hard. Like, for me, and I'm just gonna say this now, I've been a self-taught artist all my life, and I don't know if it's my ADHD or autism, but the moment it pops in my head of what I want to draw, I could just pick a pencil or a pen and start drawing it. So creating those characters was very easy. To make all 9 of them, it just took me like 30 minutes to make all of them.
That's crazy. Especially for 9 different characters.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of them, out of the 9, which one did you have fun drawing the most out of the 9?
Oh, ZZ. Absolutely ZZ. ZZ and Kurt. Those two are my favorites. Because ZZ is just a silly hedgehog that just loves to draw, but also very flexible with their inky art. It's very fun. And then Kurt, I just like the short little mafia boss who gets short-tempered and likes to start chaos and just get into trouble all the time. And he's kind of a bad influence, but you know what? He's having fun in his own way. He drives the other Imaginators crazy though, but those two are my favorites. I love drawing them.
Oh, that's crazy. When I think about it, what inspired the name for not just like the Imagination World, but for Aiko's adventure? Like, were there other name ideas that you have had before going with the ones that you have now for both of them?
I only can remember 2. For Aiko's, it was gonna be something like it was gonna be like Bobby's and Friends. Or another one was like Adventure with Tom. And then I didn't like it, so I scrapped that. And then after a few thinking, I was like, Aiko sounds good. Wait, Aiko's Adventure. Wow. Brain exploded. Whoa. So cool.
Okay. Those other 2 names were pretty funny. And thinking about it, wouldn't really make sense with it, especially with the character itself.
Yeah.
Hey, Patty. Alright, and what about the Imagination World?
The what? I'm sorry, you cut off a bit.
The Imagination World. Like, were there other
Oh.
name ideas you had for that one, or was that one just the main one?
So, it's just the main one. There was supposed to be another name with it, but again, due to some private thing that happened behind the scene, I don't want to
Use it.
socialize with some things, so I completely wanted to scrap it and make it brand new. And I thought about, I remember about the good old classic Dragon Tales. So I was like, would it be so cool if it's like kind of like that, but a little bit different but it's imagination. Oh my gosh, I got an idea.
Alright. Ooh. Let's see, get two wait. See, Jared asked what was your inspiration. Do you want to give him a quick summary on the inspiration?
Yeah, sure. So for Ico's was inspired by Walton Files and Andy's Apple Farm. And for Imagination World was Welcome Home and a very underrated ARG called Chess Kid Archive. I highly recommend it. It's gonna be confusing, but I like it. It's a very interesting ARG.
Indeed. Alright. This one I'm a little confused about. From the areas they ask, have you ever fixed the one yet? I don't know what you mean by that.
It's I. So when I
okay.
was making Imagination World, so English is not my first language. It's Hawaiian.
Right.
So when I was writing Imagination, I forgot the I. So instead of Imagination, it was Imaginaton. So he would not let that go. And I'm like, thanks. I'm like, yes, my favorite of all. Ton.
I don't think I ever noticed that until you mentioned that.
I didn't even notice it until like even my own like VAs and ICOs are like, hey, you forgot the I, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Like, literally, I didn't even notice that till now you mentioned it. Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't think they were ever gonna mention that.
Oh no, this is something I'm gonna be stuck with, but it's okay. I don't care. It's just I laugh
funny.
about it, but
It's funny.
yeah, it's just gosh dang it.
Alright. So, I think you already answered this one for the Imagination World, but how about this one for Aiko's adventure? From they asked, which character design is your favorite?
I have 3. So one, of course, is Aiko. Second one, of course, is Poppy, and third one is Prince. And I guess you could say 4 is Pit, but if I want to say my number 1 is Pit. Pit is my favorite.
Okay. Also, your co-director for Imagination World this year.
Yeah, I know. I see her. Hi.
It look like they actually taking, like at least sharing the regret on that one with you. Alright, anyways, Jared asks, and since you live in Hawaii, have you watched Lilo and Stitch?
Oh, multiple times. Back with my Ohana and we watched that all the time. And honestly, what the biggest thing that helped me draw Poppy was Stitch. But just a little bit different.
Making it your own style to it with a little inspiration.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Reggie asks, do you think if you have seen the third movie yet? Sonic, the Sonic movie, do you think, they ask, do you think Keanu Reeves is gonna voice Shadow again?
I wouldn't be surprised. He did a good Shadow. I liked it.
He was the GOAT. The fact that he actually did his homework before even actually voicing the character, that takes a lot of dedication right there.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Let's see. Actually, out of all of the characters you've designed, which one was the hardest one to actually design? Especially when you got so many ideas in your head that you could go with, but it's hard to choose which one you want to go with.
Oh, I the hardest design for. Do you want Ico's or Imagination World or just Ico's?
Let's go with both.
Okay, for Ico's, the hardest design that I had a really hard time because I kept scrapping it, fixing it because I didn't like how it looked.
Mm-hmm.
Was a entity name Error. Error is not out yet, but when you see his design, you're gonna understand why. But all I would say is that he is terrifying.
Ooh.
He took a lot of effort, and he has a lot of eyes staring at you, staring at your soul, and you're going,
He's just staring at you menacingly. Literally.
yeah. And for Imagination World, so they're not out yet, but me and 3 other people
Mm-hmm.
who are working, who've been helping me with the Imagination World, mostly just helping with characters. We are working on the rivals for the Imagination World, and there's one character I cannot say his name yet, but he was difficult, but I figured it out.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to hear the name yet. I want to wait and see. It looks like Blossom and Aries are having too much fun saying which one you would actually vote, who you should vote for, voice either Shadow or Eggman.
Sonic, I love Latina.
Oh, that's funny. That's actually funny. Actually, speaking of Sonic characters, Jared asks, yeah, what got you into the Sonic franchise, and who is your favorite character from the Sonic franchise?
So this is gonna sound crazy, but my tutu means grandparents in Hawaiian.
Right.
My tutu was the one that told me as a kid, I think you're gonna like this, and she showed me Sonic X.
Ooh.
And that was like kind of my first time like seeing like the Sonic stuff, and then I got into the games. But and my favorite Sonic character, I'm kind of classic, but I like Knuckles. He's silly.
The man's the goat when it comes to raw power and whatnot.
Yeah.
Hello, T. Alright. Ooh. Jared asks, what's your favorite Hawaii activity at your home with your Hana?
Oh, my favorite one? Well, there's 3, but I'll keep it short. 1 is going out and surfing. It's really fun. 2, playing music and doing the hula with my ohana and friends. And
Nice.
3rd one, my most favorite of it all, is stargazing, because we get stars at night and I could just gaze the stars for hours. It's so pretty.
Honestly, aside from Japan, Hawaii was definitely one of the other places I've been wanting to go to. Especially with the Hawaiian style food they got there and the culture and everything. You can learn a lot of things there.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Plus, it'd be nice to actually try to surf again. I tried doing it once back in high school. You still need more practice with. Alright, let's see. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, Jared said, honestly, Lonnie, I think your voice fits more in the line of either Sally or Rouge. And Blossom says, I 100% think Lonnie could voice Rouge. And which honestly, I could see.
It's been a while since I've heard Rouge or any of the characters' voice, but I'll give it a try in the future.
Alright, hello Mimo. Let's see. Huh? That's kind of irrelevant to what we're talking here. Yeah. Anyways. Alright. Actually, how long did it take for you to actually think of the story and everything for, like, as well as the characters? Like, not design-wise, but story-wise.
Oh boy, story-wise. It took me a long time. For Icos, it took me like a good 5 to 6 months to figure out what I wanted to do with Ico. Because fun fact, I was going to make Ico's Adventure a game. But I scrapped the idea because, like, I just noticed that my poor brain will be suffering with coding and stuff. So I'm like, maybe one day.
Hey, Corey.
Hi, Corey.
You're so rude.
And to answer your question, perhaps there might be more. Ooh.
I'm dying over here with that one. How you doing, Corey? Dude, let me try to collect my thoughts and shit's funny. Anyways. That is true, yeah, since Blossom does help, yeah, co-direct with, yeah, this stuff, yeah, there's not a lot of questions they don't even need to ask. Actually, since you talked about, like, how long it took for, like, Aiko's adventure, how about, like, for Imagination World, for that whole thing?
It took me a year. Because, like I said, I was very hesitant because, due to everything that happened in my life, I had to take a step back from everything. And especially, I had to rebrand/reboot Aiko's adventure. So, like, I just had to, like, focus on myself and such. And not, get a terrible burnout and then never pick it up again.
That makes sense. Especially since it had to take a
Don't
year
worry,
to
Corey.
get all that time.
Yeah, also don't worry, Corey. Sean will be there. Patience, my friend. He will be there. Mwahaha. Mwahaha.
So who's is Sean a character in Aiko's adventure?
He is. I won't spoil too much, but all I will say is that Sean is one of the quote-unquote real life person crew member in Aiko's. You'll get to see him very soon in literally the upcoming next episode. You'll see him. You'll see him.
I can definitely agree with that, Wilson. I got to talk to them before the whole this interview started, hearing like how long it took them to work on this, a lot of hard work and everything. It's amazing. The artwork, the animation, like the backgrounds, all of that is amazing. That's a lot of hard work, especially for someone who's been doing this for a long time and self-teaching themselves on it too.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. Alright. Let's see, we're waiting on some more questions here. Still trying to think of some that won't go into spoiler territory. Oh. Yeah, Sega Sonic asks, what's your favorite dessert?
Likoi and shave ice.
What's that other one? I don't think I've ever heard of that one.
Likoi?
Yeah.
Oh, that's just a Hawaiian dessert. It's like a little powder you can put on your sweets.
I think that's the first thing I'm gonna try out whenever I go to Hawaii. Alright, let's see. Wow.
Thank you, Corey. I appreciate it. He will not let this go. Why?
You
I
gotta
can
love
never
your,
escape.
you gotta love your cast. It'll be funny.
Yep, this is the people that that are in, and I could never ask for anything else but them. I love every single one of them, platonically. Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, Jared asks, since you originally thought of Ico's Adventure as a game, what type of game do you plan on using for said game?
I wanted to make Ico Adventure as a mascot horror, but again, I didn't know coding very well. I know a little bit, and I kind of didn't. I don't know. I felt like mascot horror was getting way too like out of hand because there's so many of them. So I was like, yeah, maybe not.
Okay. Let's see. Ooh. And today brings up a very good question. They asked, will Imagination World have music boxes again?
Yes. Fun fact: there's already a music box, so smiley face.
We'll leave it at that. Alright. Oh, Corey has the question here. The serious question: what other works / culture things inspired Ico?
So, I'll say it again. I don't mind repeating myself. So, Ico was inspired by two things. One called the Walton Files and Andy Apple Farm. But another thing I forgot to mention that also inspired me with Ico is, who would have guessed it, Dora the Explorer.
Yeah, I can see that. With the amount of crazy adventures he goes through, yeah, I can definitely see that.
Oh yeah. But I don't know, like I said, I always like the idea of like having this like, oh my gosh, this cute little cartoon art. What could possibly go wrong? Oh my goodness.
Practically jinxes
Is that the
himself.
fight of 87?
Oh my god, the FNAF reference. The FNAF reference.
It was right there.
Yeah, it definitely was. Since Tay brought up the music boxes, so what's that about exactly?
So I have a thing that I like to leave some music box here and there. And if you I like to be a little sneaky. If you can find these music box, there's like a surprise. Sometimes you get a good surprise and sometimes you don't get a good surprise. I don't want to spoil it too much, but keep an eye out of that.
When I think of it, it kind of reminds me of Lucky Blocks. Yeah, where like you get, yeah, sometimes it's lucky, sometimes it's not lucky. That makes it more interesting. Alright, yeah, Blossom says, being a co-director for iCodes as well as Gift, a gift. I loved all the characters, the rework and story. Ico himself has become a comfort, and having my own characters in it is wild to me. Nice.
Aww, that's so sweet. I'm really glad you like Aiko.
Hey, he's starting to grow on me. Alright, let's see.
He's just so silly. I mean, nothing can go wrong with him and his friends, right? They're just going on adventures. I'm sure they're fine.
A few seconds later, they're just curled up in the ball doing the fetal position. After everything they've seen.
Meanwhile, Aiko is just like, "Ooh, look, a butterfly!" While his friends are just screaming in the background.
Yikes. Alright, let's see. It makes the It makes the creepy in the project creepy, not to mention, like, yeah, I like the music playing when the music box is open. Okay. Alright. Alright, so from Jared, since you like the idea of an imaginative world and is imagination world, and Aiko's adventure, I gotta ask, have you watched the Owl House or Amphibia?
I have not. I've seen like clips of it or everything, but I have not. I was supposed to, but then, life happens. I got busy and got sidetracked.
I have yet to watch the series. I've seen, just like you, I've seen clips of it, but I have been curious about the adventure for both Owl House and Amphibia. Luckily, I do have Disney Plus, so I can actually watch both those, as long as they're on there.
Nice.
Alright, let's see. Blossom said, Echo's a normal show, the fog is coming, the fog is coming, the fog. What?
Oh, it's a joke saying the fog is coming, the fog is coming, the fog is coming.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of, like, looking back at the part about, like, his friends, like, him going on an adventure with his friends, like, did he, like, trying to think of a good way to, word it. I guess, did he have, like, do his friends, like, actually have fun during those adventures, or do they regret ever going with him on those adventures, especially with the amount of crazy things they see that almost kills them?
So, if we push the horror away,
Mm-hmm.
it's a mix. Sometimes they have a blast, and sometimes they're scarred for life. But you know what? But then they teach people, hey, don't do what we just did. Don't try this at home. 'Cause we're kind of like a little cuckoo about it. But with the horror concept, I don't want to spoil too much,
Right.
but you're going to see difference. That's all I can promise you is that you're going to see difference with these characters, and the more we move forward with Icos, the more you're gonna start seeing a lot of changes in time.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, Fluffy Nerd said, I've seen both series, they are really good. And Aries says, you need to run.
Thanks, Aries.
Alright. Gotta look back at some of the other characters, like, that had me curious. One I will ask, is the character Virus. Like, what inspired him, and, like, what kind of role does he play in this story?
So for Virus, so what role they play in the story? Like I said, I don't want to spoil too much,
Yep.
but all I will say is that they are a scrap character, but because of spooky stuff, entities, monsters, they seem to kind of know, like I said, just can break the fourth wall, and they can do something to stop this, but they choose not to. They don't care about everyone else. All they care about is just making sure their precious Aiko doesn't get hurt. Smiley face. And what inspired Virus is a character. I'm trying to remember, but now I remember. Virus was inspired by Darkrai, but a little bit more insane.
I can definitely see that. Alright. Oh yeah, there is one character that saw back during some of the other auditions. One that kinda stood out, but also scared the hell out of me. What's the story at front and behind the Messiah?
So it's an entity. It is the main reason why a lot of spooky stuff is happening in this show of Aiko's adventure. And the more you dig into the show and the more you find these tapes and lore and hidden stuff, you get to understand why it's doing what it did and what's its goal. Because all I will say is that this entity really believes that they are God themselves. That's all I can say.
Oh my god, Blossom. They said virus downloads cryptocurrency onto your PC/GA.
What incarnations?
That's actually funny. It will do whatever it takes to actually keep Ico safe. Even if it means putting a virus onto your computer.
That is insane.
Yeah, it is. But it's funny. Alright, let's see. I'm trying to look back more at like some of the other characters that I've seen. So, what's the story behind the? I see that they are also another entity in regards to Ico.
Oh, do you mean Faker? Or
Death.
oh, Death. Death is actually one of the Lost Souls. They used to work alongside the creator who made Ico's Adventure, and their story is really dark of why they call themselves Death. Because all of these Lost Souls don't really remember who they are, but they still feel like someone's is responsible for this badness and they want to set themselves free. But time will tell.
Okay. And now that you brought up the character, well, the name Faker, or in this case the character, who is that character exactly? And what role do they play in this?
It's gonna sound funny. So this character is one of the main / scrap monster entities. It's a version of Ico, but fake. It's not the real Ico.
Huh, so he is like an actual figure.
Literally, it's a doppelganger.
Also, hello, Joshua Rabina.
Oh my gosh, is that the voice actor of Ico's Adventure? Wow!
Fort Wahlbergen. Also, take care, Aries.
It's really funny because, like, he put me in the basement. Get me out! Get me out!
How you doing, Joshua? Hopefully you're having a good day. So here's my next question, and it's in regards to, like, if you, other human characters I've seen, like Kyler, Jasmine, and as well as Brooke and some of the other ones, and the other human characters. So what's the story behind them?
So they're pretty much like just real life characters that was hired by Cleo and Kai and Jin, the creators of Icos and their company of Color of Life, and they also play a very important role in the story, and they just used to work alongside with the creators and bring the show to life.
Actually, this after hearing talking about the creators, you mentioning them, who are the creators, behind all of that in the show? Just hearing about this has me curious.
So they are siblings. They were born and raised in Hawaii, and they're pretty much so there's 2 sisters and 1 brother. The 2 sisters love to make art, and the brother is a writer. So he helps the sisters develop these characters and bring them to life and personality. And pretty much once they're done with school, college, and all that jazz, they wanted to build their own show. It took a lot of time, but it somehow went pretty well.
Now that really is breaking the fourth wall right there. Alright. So Josh says, I used the wrong account. I ain't even gonna question that one.
Don't. He's again. Ugh! Aiko, faker, doppelganger, imposter.
Alright. So who or what exactly is Boohoo, the character?
Boohoo is a sad clown, alongside with her best friend Bing Bong. They both live in the town, but the town has a big, like, circus, festival and such. That's where they live. I have a full-on concept of the art and everything of the world, of their world and such. And yeah, they're just silly clowns that just will entertain, and you get to see them very soon, hopefully, in time. In time.
Okay. There's so many characters that has me curious, but one really stands out. Prince.
Prince. Prince is big shocker. He is one of Pitt's sibling, and he is a very silly guy. Like, mostly he's in charge of, like, with his trusty big bag, he can carry anything and have the equipment you need to go on these adventures. He always thinks positive and always just wants the best for everyone. But just like his own brother, he sometimes push his own feelings away and just kind of keep it to himself and not express how he really feels. Because deep down, he knows what's happening, but he's scared to say anything.
Ooh. Okay. Also, hello, Pants. I'm not finishing that part. I'm assuming that's another one of the VAs.
Yep.
Okay. Ooh. So, what's the story behind Cookie?
Cookie is the same species as Poppy. Their species name is Cosmo Blossom. They're created by weird galaxy space and with a little bit of nature. It's a long story, but that's for another time. But Cookie is very quiet. She is related to Poppy, but there's nothing too much about them. They're there to be kind of more of a kind of can sense danger and such, and just there to be a support for the main adventurers and such.
Okay. Alright, so she can change into two, like her mini form and like her true form. Like, does she like which form does she normally prefer being in the story?
Mostly, they prefer to be in their true form, but time to time they will go to their mini form. Because Poppy has a true form, but Poppy likes her mini form better.
Okay. Yeah, seeing the design, it's pretty good. Can't wait to see the full version of it once they appear in the show itself.
Yeah, exactly. I'm really excited to show people and just show whoever likes my silly show that, hey, these characters have a story to tell. And there's definitely a story to tell, indeed. Because for me personally, I don't care about the fame or the popularity. All I care about is having fun and just sharing my passion with these silly characters that I love very much. And I feel like people forget the main thing of why they do these. Because, people see it, they get inspired, they want to make it, and then they just give up because all they can think about is they want to get popular. But sometimes it's about having fun and creating new memories with the people you meet and just having one heck of a time.
Huh, okay. Alright. Seeing like, aside from Aiko as one of the main characters, what's the story behind, sorry if I pronounce his name wrong or not, Ahi? I don't know if I said that right or not.
Oh, Ahi or Ahe. He's just a silly pineapple tree
Wait,
alongside with
seriously?
his brother. Yeah, he a pineapple, but he doesn't look pineapple. So it's really funny because people don't know what the heck he is, and he's like, "I'm a pineapple tree," and they look at him like, "What? What the heck? You don't look like one."
Yeah, even I was
But
confused by seeing the picture, like wondering, wait, what exactly is that?
the whole joke with him is that he's a pineapple tree, but he doesn't look like a pineapple tree. He's the more cautious person, like cautious main character alongside Aiko's. He's strong, he's very strong, but he always tried to like think before acting. But sometimes, knowing Aiko and Prince, they like to just jump into adventures, and Cookie and Poppy and another character that you'll meet soon will just join them, and then Ahe just sitting there like, all right, we're doing this. Don't say I haven't warned you. And then, yeah.
So he's like the voice of reason, trying to make sure his friends don't do anything stupid that would end up getting them killed or scarred for life.
Yep, pretty much. Yep.
That's crazy. Nowadays, like in an adventure like that, you need someone to be the voice of reason to get you from that path, or else you'll live to regret it.
Mm-hmm. As Aiko says, you only live once. Well, for us, but for them, they live forever, so.
Yeah. They can just respawn back and say, hey, we're back. Let's continue. That's pretty scary, especially when they just disregard the fact that they can still feel pain when they die, but they can just come back like nothing never happened. Alright.
Yeah, absolutely.
So here's my question in regards to Mr. Aloha. I like how you used the given the name using the Hawaiian way of saying hello.
Yeah, so unlike his sister, they both call themselves Mrs. and Mr. Aloha. So as you can tell, myself being Hawaiian, I also want to throw my culture in it because it's very rare. It's very rare to see any Polynesian, Hawaiian, um, Portuguese, Filipino. Like it's rare to see those other characters, and for me, this is very important for me, is because not only does again I go on an adventure, but you get to like learn different learn these
Cultures.
cultures and learn like the language and like understand like why it makes them them.
I really like how you incorporate some of real life stuff with the Hawaiian culture into the story as well.
Yeah,
It gives people somewhat of a chance to really learn some of the culture bit by bit.
yeah, of course.
Alright. Thinking back on it, aside from like the other like Aiko and his friends, how many other characters do you plan to have in Aiko's adventure?
So, I already have the entire town, rivals, and the monster and entities and the villains in.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty much all said and done. There's not gonna be any more. But all I would say is that for the town, there's a lot. Not too overwhelming, but it's definitely a town. It gives you that town vibe.
Right. Instead of just having, oh, there's only a few people in here, just it wouldn't really feel like a town. It just feels like, it feels like sun.
Yeah.
Hmm. Alright. Without going into any spoiler territory in regards to like the villains, what exactly is their goal in regards to like like the world in the series as well as Aiko himself?
So majority of them just want to cause trouble. They're the troublemakers.
Right.
They like to start chaos and just give the town a big headache and just being like, why are you doing this? Just for fun. Some of them have their own reasons. Some of them want revenge. Some of them are going into something very deep. And there is one in one of the villain that knows, like Prince, knows what's going on. But he has his own goal of what he wants to do. But yeah, majority of them just want to cause trouble. And they're just troublemakers.
Alright. Also, how long did you want to keep this going?
I'm sorry, you cut off. What was that?
I was saying, how long did you want to continue doing this?
I can do like maybe 3 more questions and then
Alright.
I gotta skedaddle.
All good, all good. Alright. Got a question for Imagination World. So, like, aside from the characters, like the characters that we already know, like the 9, are there other characters that will play a part in the series as well? In regards to the 9?
So, like I said, there's going to be the rivals, the opposite of our silly Imaginators. And again, we already have the concept. We're drawing the concept, and they're gonna come later on, like maybe around chapter 3, or just moving forward. I'm still not sure if I wanted to make it a chapter or just updated every time and whatever, but I'll figure that out. But it's just the rivals and a narrator and one more thing. But everything else, that's about it.
Okay. Speaking of, like, you mentioned the Imaginators more than once. So, like, is that the name that you're giving the team? Like, if they are a team? Was there other names that you had before the Imaginators?
There was the there was the Happy Buddies, but then I was like, no, that's too weird. And then there was one that was like, yeah, there was one that was like, oh, I should name them Colorful. That doesn't make any sense. Okay. And then the last one that I thought about, but I was like, no, that's way too close to Poppy Playtime. Is calling them the imagination critters. But I was like, no, that's way too close to Poppy Playtime. So imagine the Imaginators it is, and honestly, works perfectly fine.
I still see you there, Josh. Alright. Last question. still don't want to try to get into any spoilers on that. Dang it. Actually, there's one that we won't have to go into too much detail, especially in regards to, it possibly being a spoiler. How do you imagine the series ending? Especially for both Aiko's adventure and the imagination world.
No worries, I got you. So I'm gonna go a little bit of a little kind of small rant, but mostly I'm just gonna talk my heart out about this. So when I made Imagination World and Aiko's Adventure, I already had a story completely set up. I know how to start it. I know how it's gonna go in the middle and how it's going to end. I'm gonna say both of them don't have a happy ending.
Ooh.
But it's not also a bad ending too.
So a bit of a neutral ending, but it makes you
Yes.
bad and good.
So I will say for Aiko's for that ending is going to be hitting me a little harder, but because of course it's like the ending of the Aiko and such, but it's also like it's gonna really dig into a lot of things that us humans struggle till this day because of society, anxiety, society, anxiety, depression, just so much pressure, and how things is changing so quickly, and just getting used to everything, and just how people don't get along. It's gonna hit really hard
So it'll be
with
like
some
a
people.
life
And
lesson via story.
yeah, kinda.
Okay.
Just don't make a deal with a entity. Just
Yeah, that one's kind of obvious. Because you'll live to regret it, literally.
yep.
Alright, those were my final 3 questions there. I hope you enjoyed being able to answer these questions, getting to talk more about the series and what people can expect from it.
Yeah, of course, and I'm happy to answer as best as I can, and I cannot wait to show whoever would just want to see my project and just have a good time and enjoy the theory, enjoy learning about the lore, and just like getting to know the characters, because they will be around. You'll see them very soon.
Yeah. And again, if you guys want to check out that first video, the first episode, just check out the description. It will have that link to the video. Make sure you guys also subscribe to the Aiko's Adventure YouTube channel and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss out on the next one. Actually, when I think about it, you plan on making a channel for the Imagination World?
Maybe. I'll think about it.
Alright, that way, like, if we do, make it a little more easier to actually separate the 2 series, so that way they can actually find it on this, and they can find it on that. But, it'll take time, take your time on whether or not you do it.
Yeah, of course.
Anything you would like to promote in regards to your stuff?
Check out it's not really my promotion, but it's like check out all the amazing voice actors and actress that are in Aiko's. They're really cool. You'll get to see them very soon. Just check them out. Support your artists, support your voice actors, because I will tell you right now, in Aiko's, they worked really hard. Even though they're just voicing, they still bring these characters to life. Yeah, and it's it just blows my mind, and it makes me thankful every single day to have these amazing talented people in my life and just being a part of this silly project. I know I can't give much, but the best thing I could do is just give art in return. So definitely check out all the other amazing people because they're great. And I sometimes post art from time to time because I've just been so busy and I'm not on social media that much. So yeah, that's basically it.
Alright. Hope you guys enjoyed. And again, if you guys want to check out the first episode, just check out the description below. It will have the original, well, not the original, but the first episode of Aiko's adventure there. And again, make sure you guys subscribe to their channel and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss out on the next episodes. But I'll see you guys next time. Also, make sure you guys stay tuned for Wednesday. My next guest, long-awaited guest, Johnny Gioli, will be on the series for Q&A. So make sure you guys keep an eye out on that. But until then,
Awesome.
I'll see you guys next time. Later.
Bye bye.